And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Monday, January 4th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. It's a Monday morning. We welcome you to our program, our first program for 2021. Hope you had a great weekend. I sure enjoyed the Titans win yesterday, although I was sweating it out there for a little while, and I guess all of our friends were too, our fans. We are on the air, of course, every Monday morning at this time for Absolute Kubota. Now at 1506 West Main in Lebanon. T.R. Kirby is here this morning, and he's going to talk to us and tell us all about it. Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Yeah, fine. You were waiting for me to come in this morning. Now, old Don, he comes in here and sits down over there and watches me as I come in and makes fun of me. Says I think I'm on time. He says I'm late, but whatever. You hadn't got up to that level yet to criticize me.
Yes, sir.
But it's good to have you with us today, and I hope y'all had a day off. You had New Year's off, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And but I think you were there Friday and Saturday, and anyway, we're here to start. Really, in a way, it's starting a new year here in January. It gets in earnest this morning, and I guess you're just looking forward to a wonderful month, a wonderful year, hopefully.
Yes, sir. We are in that new location at 1506 West Main Street, and this is going to be our first full calendar year in that building. We're really positive. We're really settled in now. We got a lot of staging where everything goes figured out, and we look forward to this year and serving our customers this year.
Well, now, how long have you actually been in sales at Absolute Kubota?
I've been in shells about 6 months.
So you are not the seasoned salesman that some of the others who've come out here and done the commercial are. You, how were you working there? You were working there prior to becoming a salesman, right?
Yes, sir. I've worked there since 2017. I've always helped out with sales, like on Saturdays, and just assisting them as they needed me. And then I moved into that role about July.
Yeah, and I was just saying you probably don't have the customer base. Maybe you haven't established a customer base like Don Hamlet maybe has, or like some of the others have had. Jonathan Manning had before he passed away, and I guess you kind of come in because of his death. This gave an opportunity for you to move up, and no doubt you're making friends every day and calling people and checking them, watching for somebody to drive in and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. We are.
Well, any good news about kickoff for January? Any particular specials? I know you still got, according to what we've been told, you've got some deals that you can take for up to 84 months before you start paying interest.
Yes, sir. I'm not sure if they're maintaining the 0 for 84, but we still got 0 down, 0% financing for good long terms like that. Usually the longest term is 84 months. Usually they'll keep it at 60 months year round. Then they also provide insurance that is full coverage insurance.
Well, I passed by there last night. Your lot out there seems to be nearly full of orange implements, and Kubota's orange, of course, and really we talk about them. I don't know how much attention you paid when they first came to this country. Really, I think if my memory's right, from Korea, South Korea maybe.
No, they're a Japanese-owned company.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, all right. Anyway, from the Far East, and I think the product has been improved greatly over the years. And in fact, from what all of y'all tell us, you put them up against anybody.
Yeah, yes, sir. I will. It's just really quality. They've got the number one selling diesel engine under 100 horsepower in the world. They started off in America with a little subcompact tractor, and now we're up to tractors up to 200 horsepower. And they have just anything from a little ride lawnmower all the way up to a 8 metric ton excavator. And that's just a very vast product line.
Well, TR, one of the things we were told when you made the move here that you had become a little crowded at the other place at 1325 West Main, which still is the place for absolute rental, but they're kind of to themselves. You're kind of to yourselves a little farther down the street at 1506 West Main. But passed by there last night, you've got a great display of implements there, and I mean all kinds of. I don't know what the names of all of them are, but I mean there's all kind of orange out there.
Yes, sir. Since the virus hit, a couple factories shut down, and we're just now getting our inventory levels back up to where they used to be. I try to keep a lot of products that people like in stock, and we're just getting our product envelope back up there where it should be.
Well, it's a little early to think about cutting hay yet, but there's that old saying about the early bird gets the worm, and if you need some equipment, now would be a good time to begin thinking about that. Come by, check it out, see what's available, and then have plenty of time to make your mind up on what you need and if Kubota is a good deal for you, and I'm sure they're gonna get a lot of encouragement from you to go that way.
Yes, sir. Just remember that Kubota is Vicon A-Tools. We've got Vicon Dismower, rakes, tethers, balers, and wrappers. And if you go ahead and purchase now, it still qualifies for that 0% financing. If we need to do some tweaking to your tractor, like run a power supply for the monitor or something like that, right now is the perfect time to make sure all the kinks and bugs don't prevail for springtime when you're trying to get that hay up off the ground.
Right. Well, one thing we haven't mentioned yet this morning, but before you go, I got to mention the recreational RTV, recreational terrain vehicle, RTVs. They're a popular thing, aren't they?
Oh, yes, sir. And we've still got some of those in stock. Everybody like those for riding around, doing chores, running to the mailbox. They're very versatile pieces of equipment.
Even deer hunting.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for being with us today. I guess we'll see you throughout the month here. Next Monday, you'll be back, and we'll talk again about it. How's that?
Yes, sir.
T.R. Kirby, Absolute Kubota, now at 1506 West Main in Lebanon. Check them out. Phone number 615-449-6171. We're 10 and a half after the hour, and believe it or not, Sheriff Robert Bryan is live and in studio with us this morning. Sheriff, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
We've missed you a time or two, but Captain Scott Moore has done a great job of filling in for you, and of course he's the public information officer, and if anybody knows it, I guess he does. So
yeah, he does a good job.
well, it is good to see you. And anything exciting happened over the weekend? Really newsworthy?
It's been about normal as things go over the weekend. I got a few calls over the weekend, so it's 2021, Coleman, and I'm glad it's here, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we will. You brought something this morning that takes us back to 1978. It's a newspaper, and it's the photos of election coverage that we did. Some of it right here in this room. I guess that would have been August of '78 when those pictures were made. But appreciate you bringing that by. Is that for Susie?
That's for you or Susie or whoever wants that. My grandmother she kept newspaper articles, just all kinds of them. I just happened to be going through them one day and a couple weeks ago, and I found that. And I said, well, I need to bring it. I knew I had to come out here that day, so it'd be a good place for it.
There's even a picture of former Sheriff Gwen
It
King.
is. It is.
Sure
And there's several pictures of you in there, Coleman.
There
so
it is.
Look at there.
Jack Hendrickson and Joe Bell and, of course, Betty Jo Hickey and Diana Graham. They were all working here. And Phil Bennett. Some of them are deceased. Most of them, actually. But anyway, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
What's on your mind this morning? There could be a number of things. We've got the coronavirus that you've been having to deal with since March. We've got the state legislature about to crank up, and I know you're always concerned, I think rightly so, as to what legislation they might have that you would like to have, and some that you would maybe be opposed to. That could be on your mind, maybe a bunch of things, but I want to pick your brain.
Coming out of 2020, there's a lot of things we can talk about today. And, you mentioned the coronavirus, you mentioned legislation, we went through the tornadoes this past year, and this bombing on Christmas Day in Nashville, it affected everybody, and it was a crazy year, and we look forward to a better year.
You heard any more about that other than what we're hearing on the news reports? I keep wondering the motive there, and is there something we don't know yet?
Well, Coleman, it's during that whole investigation from Christmas Day on, it affected our department, it affected departments across. Once that happened, we had to go into a mode of patrolling extra and getting more people out on the road just in case, because right there at first nobody knew, and we went for a day or two just beefing up what we was doing in Wilson County, just like all the other counties in Middle Tennessee were, because there was a lot of unknowns at the time,
and we did have this incident that came over from Rutherford County into our area out here on 231 South,
and then you got your idiots. Okay, that's what I call them, and it's. When I heard that call come across the radio that day, I was like, "Oh no, here we go! What's going on?" And it's Rutherford County had gotten a call about this individual in this box truck, and supposedly he was playing some kind of recording similar to that in Nashville. Yeah. And when the Rutherford County finally caught up to him, he was over in Wilson County. So here we go, we're over in Wilson County, and our patrol officer stopped him, and it's anytime you have a hoax or a bomb, whatever it was, I still call it idiot, but it's you got to treat it like it's real. And we stopped him right there on the middle of 231 South, right there at Cedar Forest, and him and his the whole thing's sad, but he had his little daughter with him. And, the investigation shows, there wasn't nothing in the truck, but we had to get the bomb squad, we had to get the robots, we had to get the dogs, and, we had shut down that roadway for several hours. And it's ended up not finding nothing in the truck, but, he admitted to playing that recording at two different places over in Rutherford County. And that's absurd.
Petula Clark downtown.
Yeah. And it's crazy. He was playing the actual. He said there was a bomb in his truck.
Okay.
And he done it at church. He done it at a convenience store over there, and it's I don't know. It's sad that people do stupid things, and he'll pay for it.
Well, with that, it is time for us to take a break. Sheriff Robert Bryan is with us, and we'll talk more in a moment here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford, and they've got that regular oil change. It's only $24.95, up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal. 1673 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic volume on the increase down 65 here at Trinity Lane as we check it out live. There's been a couple of accidents out here in the last 10-15 minutes. Most have been pushed to the right-hand side as traffic through Mount Juliet starts to build out of Wilson County now and through Hermitage. Check out the Andre Chicken Sandwich now available at Prince's Hot Chicken, 5814 Nolensville Pike. They're online at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Gregory Dental in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from University Medical Center. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Defensive drivers pay attention to their surroundings. They take precaution to keep their passengers and others on the road safe. We can all be defensive drivers during COVID-19 pandemic. Today, I ask you to take the necessary precautions to keep yourselves and others safe from COVID-19. Wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask, stay at home when you're sick. Living a cautious life doesn't mean that you live in fear. It just means that you care for others. Wilson County cares. This has been a public service announcement from the Wilson County Mayor's Office.
For the second consecutive season, your Tennessee Titans are in the NFL playoffs.
Okay. T-D-C-D, sack! Touchdown, Titan! Derrick Henry.
The Tennessee Titans NFL playoff action Titan style.
Brought to you by Steamwell Plumbing and the Jewelers.
LHS, Cumberland University, and the Tennessee Titans. The winning teams are on WANT 98.9.
Coleman and Company here on this Monday morning. Again, our first program for 2021. Sheriff Robert Bryan here. I want to ask you something. We'll get serious in a moment. This is serious in a way, but you are Robert Bryan. You have a cousin named Robert Bryan.
His name's T.
Well, I just wondered if people ever get you all mixed up.
Well, we'll go into family gatherings or whatever, and somebody will say, "Will the real Robert Bryan stand up?" And we both stand up. So he's ready now.
Well, you're certainly different. You're bigger than he is too.
Yeah, it's but he's got a sense of humor there, and
he really does.
Yeah.
Well, you're sheriff. He's a member of our Lebanon City Council, of course. You Bryans have you're in the history books. You have been, will be, I'm sure, and all of the history hadn't been written yet.
Well, I hope not. It's it's always been in our family. Want to serve people. So it's, we enjoy what we're doing. Yeah. I do, at least. And I know Tick does the way he acts sometimes, but it's...
Well, getting back to more serious stuff, the phone, we had a real problem with phone service after that bombing in Nashville. It affected a lot of people, and I don't know what it might have done as far as the sheriff's department or government offices here. You probably are aware of some of that.
Well, that right after that happened on Christmas Day that morning, we didn't have no problems, and it's up to about 12 or 1 o'clock. We started. We wasn't even getting calls into our office, and was trying to figure out what was going on, and it's tied to that down there, and apparently that hit the main hub down there of AT&T, and it affected phone service all across the mid-state and even over in other states, and we was able pretty quick to get us and the 911 office and all the agencies within the county were able to get a backup phone in our dispatch areas and get a backup to at least people could call, because 911 was down. Our incoming into our office worked and what's odd about it worked for 2 or 3 hours. And then it went down. It was sort of like it went in stages, but at no time was there anything. We was down for about an hour at the most, and it was 911 got up pretty quick, probably quicker than that as far as the 911 system, and at least having a number that people could call. But the thing about that, you've got to get that information out to the public. And, us and all the other agencies done our best to get that information out. If you need assistance, call this number or whatever number you needed. And
Christmas Day is a hard time to get anything. That'd be one of the harder times to communicate, because nearly everybody is shut down or doing the least that they have to do.
Right. And it was a process. And, I have, and several other people, a lot of people across the state have some serious concerns of how this happened. Why was everything, all of our eggs in one basket down there on 2nd Avenue? I don't know. That's above it's some technology there I don't understand, but I think it needs to be addressed because there's a lot of technology going through that building right there, and it affected. You saw what it affected.
Yeah. Have you had any conversation with our legislators about that?
We have, and we'll continue to have them, and it's. I know they're asking questions, and it's AT&T is a private company, is what I'm hearing. But I think when you're working for emergency services like this or contracting with them, you've got an obligation to protect. And they had fail safes in their system. They did, but every time it went over to the next fail safe, that system would fall, and then it'd go to the next one, then go to the next one. They had several fail safes that they worked up to the point, but you had water going in there, you had fire going in there, and every time, and gas going in that building in there, and several things that just kept failing, over a period of time that affected everything. They couldn't recover. So I think there needs to be some talk about what happened and how we fix it.
Is everything, as far as you know, pretty much back to normal now, or at least you can do anything you could have done before this now?
We are, the emergency services as of right now is pretty much back up in 100%. Every once in a while, you'll see a small glitch. They'll go down for a minute, they'll pop back up. But it's working, and hopefully it affected cell phone service for everybody, and it's anybody on the AT&T system. Luckily, our office was, some of ours was on officers were on AT&T cell phone, and some of us was on Verizon, so we was able to maneuver with and I had some of my administration calling in on their wife's phones because they was on Verizon, so that's how we was communicating there for a minute. But it's we got through it, and we'll learn from it and move on, and see how we can fix it in the future.
As far as maybe proposed legislation or being in opposition to anything that might be coming up. Of course, the legislature hadn't met yet. It's coming up. Senator Pody will be here Friday. I guess we'll get started with Representative Boyd and Representative Lynn starting next Monday in this time slot, hopefully.
Yeah, I'll lose my spot, right?
A couple of months. We'll have you on at 7:30 during those times. But any particular thing you're going to really be pushing, or anything you know of you're going to really come down hard against?
Well, you got to wait and see what's coming out first. You never know. There's hundreds and hundreds of bills that get proposed down there in Nashville, and you've got to weed through them first and see what's out there. You always have the gun bills. You always have the marijuana bills and different things we really focus on, and that's some of the ones we do focus on as sheriffs across the state. And it's a wait and see. And last year was a different year for the legislature because it was sort of shortened and different things like that. So we didn't see as much legislation last year get through, and I'd say we're probably going to see more this year, and is what I'm seeing.
As a citizen of this country, and not necessarily being a resident or a citizen of Tennessee, but do you have any concerns about the election process? And you might not be a good one to ask this to, but at the same time, we're hearing an awful lot about some states and the way they have conducted the elections. Does that bother you?
There's a lot of questions about the election. Everybody sees them every day, and the process has been done. The election's over, and we just got to I know there's some questions in several states across the country.
Well, I have a question about the way some of these states operate now. I know the Constitution gives certain powers to the states and this sort of thing, but when I see some things that allegedly and reportedly have happened here, I just wonder if something's not done about that, how much faith we can have in future elections, and that bothers me.
I agree, and there are some big questions in several states, and but you got to figure out, You're hearing a lot of stuff on social media. You're hearing stuff on the news. You're hearing different things like that. But has anybody pinpointed it? I don't know. As a citizen of this country, has anybody really pinpointed what went wrong or went right? I don't know. And,
I just wonder, why can't everybody have elections like we have
I'm
here
gonna tell
in
you
Tennessee?
something, and that's what I was fixing to say. We done a good job here in this state with our elections. And you saw how quick we come out. And yeah, it's a Republican state, and I know that, and glad it is. But it works. Our system works, and I don't know why some of these other states don't jump on board, because apparently their system's got flaws in it, or they wouldn't be flagging them. I see that.
Yeah.
But our system works, and we're very lucky here in the state.
All right, let me get on something that you'd rather talk about, I'm sure, and that's the expansion of the jail. And I know that there's work being done on that. I think we're supposed to get some figures and maybe get to work on that shortly. Are we not?
Yeah, we're there. We went through several months of 2020, and some of the things, Corona slowed it down, tornado slowed it down, and we sort of held back on the reins for a little bit until we could get over that hump of that, see how it's going to affect us. And the county commission passed the funding for it last month, and so we're moving. I got a meeting this week with the contractors and the architects to get the process started, and I hope it's already started. This ain't broke ground yet, and I see them breaking ground here next month, maybe after that, and it's going to be a 2-year process, and it can't happen quick enough for me.
So you're saying 2 years from now, January 2023, it ought to be up and running?
Yes, and it's
any chance it'd be a little sooner than that?
Well, I would.
You hope so.
Yeah, it'd be great for me, and it's for everybody, and I keep getting asked, prior to the corona, or right at the corona, when the corona hit, our numbers, and I've said this before, our numbers went down in the jail, and it was, it's probably, I don't, people slowed down committing crime, I reckon, for a while. I don't know, but our numbers went down, and over the past couple of months, 3 months, we've been looking at our figures, and as far as the numbers in the jail, and it's we're back to pre-corona numbers now, and it's you can't get, it's hard once you get to that point, it's hard to maneuver, and we'll continue to do that, and it's the judges and the DAs and the public defenders and all your attorneys in the county. I can't commend them enough. I mean, they work with us. We're locking criminals up, and we'll continue to do that. No matter how many people we have in jail, we're going to do that. But they're working, working with us as far as some, different types of sentencing processes that we can use, and they work. They do work. But your criminals that need to be locked up, they're getting locked up.
Well, that's a good place for us to end our conversation this morning.
Quick.
Good to see you, and we'll do it again next month, I hope. And stay safe and be happy if you can.
I'll be happy.
All right, thank you. Sheriff Robert Bryan, that's part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:31. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota and Rental, fully staffed service center and parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day. Servicing Exmark, Kubota, Land Pride, Red Max, and Billy Goat, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's picked up in the last few minutes out here on I-24 up by Harding Place. Here comes that traffic down through Mount Juliet, out of Wilson County into Hermitage on I-40. Passing the dam, traffic still looks pretty good at the moment on Ellington Parkway from the top down to the bottom. Check out the Andre Chicken Sandwich, now available at Prince's Hot Chicken, 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Calling all horse lovers. Do you need a new zero turn for your horse farm? Call Absolute Kubota today at 615-449-6171 and ask about their special equine discounts on Exmark mowers. Exmark picked 2-to-1 over any other brand. Step up to an Exmark at your farm or ranch today so you can get back to what you enjoy, your horses. Call 615-449-6171 or stop by and see the team at Absolute Kubota at 1325 West Main Street in Lebanon. Exmark, ready to work for you.
Do you know why Rocky Williams Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Mount Juliet sells so many cars, trucks, SUVs, and muscle cars? Well, it all starts with a simple idea. Why not give everyone a hassle-free shopping experience for their new or used vehicle with no haggling, no negotiating, and no runaround? Every vehicle on the Rocky Williams lot is marked down incredibly low with the price posted on the window. You're treated with fairness and respect every time. No pressure, just a friendly, warm, inviting staff dedicated to finding the exact vehicle you need. So Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram has become the original no-haggle, one-price dealer. Go online to rockywilliams.com to see the incredible deals yourself. Every car and truck is listed with a no-haggle low price. This is for real, and you're gonna love it. People drive for miles to get some of the lowest prices in America on their new or used cars or trucks. Go to rockywilliams.com or come on over to our brand new spacious dealership next to Walmart in Mount Juliet.
The Pavilion Senior Living residents are inviting you to become their new neighbor. If you're looking for a sign to move, call us at 444-5556 to learn more about the details. Or go to thepavilionseniorliving.com for more information. Or better yet, just drop by 1408 Medical Center Drive right behind Tenova Hospital and see for yourself. You should move here.
To kick off the work week on this Monday, you can expect mostly sunny skies and highs in the mid-50s. It will be a great day to get out and enjoy the weather on Tuesday. Highs on Tuesday top out in the upper 50s with bright sunny skies. There's a slight chance of rain on Wednesday. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's Look at Your Forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part two. It is a Monday morning, and we're ready to talk about Rocky Williams, Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Mount Juliet. Billy Mullinax is here, the general manager, and Billy, it's good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
How's your weekend?
You know, it was a wonderful weekend, Coleman. Busy weekend, and we're ready to finish up December today, Coleman.
and I've thought of that as you walked in this morning and brought me my second cup of coffee, as you always do, that we'd had that conversation last week because I'd ask you, when does the automotive month official? Oh, it's not till next Monday. Yeah. So today
all of
December.
All of the manufacturers follow the same schedule, but today is the end of December for the automotive month. So today'd be a great day if you've got a trade, Coleman.
Yeah, it might be worth.
Might be worth just a little bit more today.
All right, we got to always mention the no haggle pricing. Everybody pays the same great low price, and that's what really makes the difference. What sets Rocky Williams apart. You're different from everybody else we know. There are a few that talk about no haggle, but I think you are true no haggle pricing at Rocky Williams.
Coleman, we don't deviate on our price, not $1. If I buy a vehicle, my family member, if Rocky's children buy a vehicle, we pay exactly to the dollar what anybody else walking in off the street is going to pay. And that's as fair and as honest as you can be with people, Coleman. And a lot of people are saying they're one price or they're no haggle or they don't change their price, but we've had so many people work for us that worked for other people that say that. When it comes down to where the rubber meets the road, they change the price and put the deal together. And so you're not a one-price dealer when you deviate or change your price.
Well, let's talk for just a moment here about your car might be worth a little more today. Now, when you have a trade-in, there's a blue book, black book, what color book, whatever. There's different, and that's kind of what I think you go by as to the value of a trade-in. But that's really not part of the no haggle pricing. It's just what that is worth, and maybe today it might be worth $100 to $200, a little bit more.
That's exactly right, Coleman. And there's so many different guides, and that's all they are is guides. Because none of these guides or books that people go by vehicles. It's just a guide to go by. And we look at a lot of different things in appraising and assessing the value of a used vehicle, and then put a fair market value, what we feel like we can sell the car for at a reasonable profit. And so today, being the end of the month, we try very, very diligently to put everything together and finish with every deal that we possibly can. So today, it might be worth a couple of $100 more than it was 3 weeks ago as we try to finish up the month and the year as strong as we possibly can.
Yeah. And, of course, we always got to mention RockyWilliams.com.
You might see your neighbor there, Coleman.
Well, one thing you are going to see is your entire inventory with the no haggle price, new and pre-owned cars.
And those prices that you see there on the new vehicles, Coleman, a lot of dealerships now are including rebates that not everybody qualifies for. You get to the dealership and then they start saying, well, you don't qualify for this subprime credit rebate, and you don't qualify for the military rebate, and you don't qualify for the conquest rebate. And so they start changing or taking away rebates from you, thus increasing the price. And that's a very deceptive way to do business. We don't do that. We only use the rebates in the price that everybody in the Southeast Business Center qualifies for. And then if you qualify for those other rebates, then we certainly want you to have them, because if we don't give them to the customer, nobody gets them.
Well, I always like the line that you came out with, and I wrote it down here and try to mention it every week. We price our cars and not our customers. I like that.
That's right, Coleman.
Well, it's our time is about up here, but here we are ending for you today, ending December. Tomorrow starts January the 1st, automotive wise.
That's right.
Starts
January tomorrow.
You're hoping, I know, for another good year. I think you've had a good year.
We've had really a great year, Coleman. It's been a lot of challenges, as it has for everybody in every business, and but it's been a good year for us. We've been very blessed and feel that way.
Well, hope you have a great 2021, and you'll be back next Monday, I'm sure.
We'll do it all over again.
You haven't missed one in a long time.
Missed one in about 8.5 years.
Is that, well, I don't even remember that, but thanks so much.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you next time. That is Billy Mullinax. He's general manager for Rocky Williams, Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Mount Juliet, 600 Pleasant Grove Road. They price their cars and not their customers. All right, here at about 21 minutes before the hour, I want to welcome Judge Brody Kane, who has graced us with his presence this morning and ready to talk about whatever, I guess.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good
to
morning.
see you this new year.
Well, it's really good to see you. I want to say how distinguished you look this morning.
Well, I'm trying.
You're dressed up. You have your coat and tie on, but you get that robe on. You can't tell that, can you?
Well, true enough. You know, it's funny. I've got a sick goat at the house, so I have to go back home and change into something a little bit more casual and check on her. And then I'll be heading back to the office this morning. So, yeah, it's true. I'll have a sports coat, but I don't wear it very long, just from the car to the courthouse. So.
How have things been? You were here and with Jeff Dixon, we talked about the drug court some time ago. I had Jeff back one time since then, but what's the year? What's 2020 been like for you as a judge?
Oh, what a year! It just so happens the 4 trial judges, we rotate this presiding judge position, which typically doesn't mean a whole lot. Just you pick the jury panels and assign conflicts. Well, this year the Supreme Court has kind of worked through the presiding judges to kind of institute their plans and restrictions we put. So it's been a busy year from that perspective. Jail cases have never stopped. So we have continued to have court just as regularly scheduled the entire year. And but the civil side has been a little bit slower on some things. Then they removed the restrictions. Jury trials came back. Everybody kind of get back into the flow of things, although we were using the Zoom hearings, doing a lot of stuff on the teleconference. But now they've shut us down again, Coleman. No in-person proceedings through the end of January, no jury trials now through the end of February. My suspicion is the Supreme Court will probably extend that. I hope I'm wrong, but I just kind of, given the numbers that we're seeing, I kind of suspect that's what's going to happen. But it's worked out. It's kind of, I was in the process of getting video conferencing, Zoom type stuff in all 5 of our counties before all this hit. But since it's hit, we've been able to get some grant money, and that's really helped us get the videos in everywhere. I've got it up and running everywhere except Trousdale, and that's just very, very close to being done. So some of the things that we've learned through this COVID we're going to go forward with. Like Trousdale County typically has had a fairly small docket just given the low population over there. Well, now they've built this Trousdale Turner Correctional Facility over there, the largest in the state. And that has its own source of crime. You've got assaults and rapes and killings and everything else going on in the jail. So that's really increased our numbers. And we have some really dangerous folks, being housed over there. And what we've been doing before this teleconference is they were actually bringing them in a specially equipped bus. They keep them in the bus, bring them in one at a time to court. Just because given the nature of some of the things that we've got folks serving life sentences that come in on something new. Mm-hmm. They have nothing to lose. So it's a real security risk. And now, once we get this up and running with the teleconference, we'll be able to do a lot of their stuff with them never leaving the facility and not having to come to our Justice Center in Trousdale. So there's some real advantages to it. Of course, it was a lot of disadvantages to this, but
well, is that a concern of yours as a judge? Some of the things you're hearing that's happening in the prison over there, or is that just pretty common with all maybe kind of maximum security or places where you have incorrigibles, those who have maybe life sentences, this sort of thing?
Well, I think, of course, that's going to happen in any prison. I think the problem that kind of gave Trousdale Turner some issues was that it was the latest prison, the newest prison. So they're bringing the other prisons, which are overcrowded, all sending theirs to Trousdale Turner. Well, you're probably going to send your worst folks. If you can get rid of them out of your building, you're going to send them over there to Hartsville.
Yeah.
So when they first started going, operating, they kind of had the worst of the worst, so to speak. Now, as I understand it, they have changed that policy, and I don't think they really could do that anymore. I think what they're doing now, they're sending folks that need medical care there. So at some point, it'll equal out and be similar to the other prisons, but in its early stages, I think we just kind of had an all-star cast over there.
We need to go to a break, but before we do, I've just thought of something that I was asked to do this morning, and this has nothing to do necessarily with you, but Al Ashworth is a friend of ours. Al has some health problems right now, and his wife has asked us to ask the people at Wood to pray for him. He's hospitalized, as far as I know, and we don't know much more to say about it, but he needs our prayers, and we would just ask you to remember Al Ashworth. He's a good businessman here, Custom
Absolutely.
Color for all these years, an author. He's been on the radio with us many times, and we hope to have him back one of these days, but if you would. And with that, we will take our break right here and be back and talk more with Judge Brody Kane in a moment here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Now 7:46. It's updated by Absolute Kubota and Rental, fully staffed service center, parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day, servicing Exmark, Kubota, Land Pride, Red Max, and Billy Goat. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. The police still behind this vehicle here on 24 eastbound at Ellington Parkway. It's over to the side. Traffic's on the increase out here through Mount Juliet. All that traffic coming in from Wilson County on I-40. Out there at Old Shannon Road, they had a fire earlier there in the Lebanon area. Hey, Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies will be hosting Sips and Sharks at 21 and over sleepover February 13th. All the details now at Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
For the second consecutive season, your Tennessee Titans are in the NFL playoffs.
Okay. T-D-C-D, sack! Touchdown, Titans! Derrick Henry.
The Tennessee Titans. NFL playoff action Titan style.
Brought to you by Steamwell Plumbing and the Jewelers.
LHS, Cumberland University, and the Tennessee Titans. The winning teams are on WANT 98.9.
The Farm Bureau Expo is your premier location for an event of any scale, making meeting in the middle easy and accessible for event planners and guests. The Expo proudly participates in the Tennessee Pledge to allow our guests to attend events with confidence. For booking details or to explore events to attend, visit farmbureauexpo.com or check out our Facebook page at Farm Bureau Expo. We look forward to seeing you at the Farm Bureau Expo in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Defensive drivers pay attention to their surroundings. They take precaution to keep their passengers and others on the road safe. We can all be defensive drivers during COVID-19 pandemic. Today, I ask you to take the necessary precautions to keep yourselves and others safe from COVID-19. Wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask, stay at home when you're sick. Living a cautious life doesn't mean that you live in fear. It just means that you care for others. Wilson County cares. This has been a public service announcement from the Wilson County Mayor's Office.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. We've invited Judge Brody Kane to be with us, and probably ought to do this more often, but I'm sure you're a busy fellow. There's a number of things we want to talk about, and I want to get to your son in just a moment. But before that, we were mentioning Al Ashworth. You've got somebody you wanted to mention.
Yeah, I sure did. Woody Woods, James Woody Woods, a lot of people know him. He's one of my court officers, and I just think the absolute world of him. He's been at Summit with COVID for about a week. I'm hoping. I talked to him last night. He believes he'll get sent home today. But there have been a lot of folks praying for him and thinking of him. And I talked to him last night and told him I was going to try to mention him, and he said, I don't know that I can get it in the hospital room. So maybe some of his family's listening today.
Well,
but
hope so.
I want to thank
your son played football for Friendship, right?
Yes,
what's
sir.
his name?
Neil Kane, yes, sir.
And he's got an award, or
thank you. He got named All-State over the weekend. He got it last year and again this year, so we're real proud of him. He's really, your kids are growing up, you want to keep them busy and occupied and out of trouble, and he really latched on to kicking and spent a lot of time doing it, practicing, and it's really paid off for him. Just couldn't be prouder of him.
Oh, now does he punt and kick off and do the
Yes,
whole
sir.
thing?
He does all of it. He'll be the first to tell you he's not the punter that he is a kicker. He kind of punts because he's been asked to do it, but and he does okay. He's really improved in that. But kicking and field goals and stuff is his best skill.
Well, now what year is he? A senior?
He's a senior.
All right. What's the future look like?
Well, he got some offers from some schools, but he's not real sure what direction he wants to go in. His sister is at Western Kentucky. He really likes Western, so I think he may end up over there. Now, he may walk on, he may not. I'm not sure. He's still thinking over his options. So I'd love to see him play college football. But I told him, I said, Neil, this is your life, not mine. So, you do what you want to do. So he's kind of thinking over his options right now.
Got to mention something else. We had this little paper here that Robert brought out that he'd found in his grandmother's attic or somewhere. And we were looking at that, and it had the election of 78 and whatever, but it reminds me of something on Facebook that your wife put when Judge Tatum and I were about to do the election returns. She says, we are hurrying back from
Knoxville.
and this is so great. It had on the dashboard there, 98.9, we're hurrying back so we can hear Judge Tatum and Coleman do the election.
I remember that.
Well, that is, I was looking through my on Facebook. I've still got that, and that's
I don't know if that was 16 or 18. I don't remember which election, but I sure do remember doing that, and us driving just as fast as we could to get back to try to get within range. So we really enjoy.
Well, that's a good thing I'd always say about Angel Kane. How's that? What problems are well? Let's talk about two things. How you're going to be doing your role. You mentioned some of this in 2021, but I'm also thinking about. We talked to the sheriff about possible legislation. Judges are concerned about legislation too.
Yeah, I'd actually scheduled meetings with all the legislators that cover the 5 counties just before COVID really hit, and of course that got canceled and still haven't got it going, but. There was one piece of legislation, Mark Pody's keeping his eye out on it for me, is the purpose of the proposed legislation was to basically take away discretion from the trial courts on probation violations. A lot of my cases are resolved through probated sentences. They have to go on probation, have various conditions they have to meet during the course of their term. And what the legislation is saying is what they quote unquote technical violations. I could only give them 10 days for a violation. That could be smoking marijuana or doing a positive drug test. Could be considered just a technical violation, or picking up a class B or C misdemeanor or what have you. And I have a real problem with that because a lot of these folks have real severe drug issues. And if they're in jail, if I can give them a little bit more time in jail, they might dry out a little bit more and maybe do a little soul searching. Maybe they can get a little help for themselves. These attorneys that represent these people, they can't even get them into a rehab program in 10 days. They're in the system and out after 10 days back using, and I can't do anything to them. And I thought that was a terrible idea. And the trial judges conference met about this. We spoke about it. We sent folks down. So we picked 2 or 3 judges to go down there and talk to the governor's office, and they basically just didn't have any interest in our input. I think they felt like the votes were there and it was going to go through. Now then COVID came through and everything just kind of got punted a year. So we'll see what happens this year. But, I think I'm in the courtroom with these people every day. I get to know their stories a little bit. I kind of know who I feel like I can take a chance on and maybe who I can't. And they're just taking that away. And it's just kind of a boilerplate. 10 days for this, 10 days for that. It was, I believe the initial legislation was 10 days, 3 straight times. You could have a positive screen 3 times in a row, and I could only give them 10 days to serve. And so I'm hopeful we can get that changed as it comes forward. There was a few statutes, but that was the one that really kind of got my interest.
Well, looking at the other side of this, where are they coming from with this? I mean, do they really understand your point here?
I don't know. It's just this criminal justice reform that's kind of been it's a hot button issue. I think partly is to try to improve our recidivism numbers. You can play with numbers and make them say different things, but I don't know. I don't know the governor. I hadn't talked to him. I'm sure he's doing everything he can, but I think this is kind of to my mind, was misguided legislation. We'll see what happens.
As Senator, he'll be here Friday. We can ask him personally, but I just wondered, Senator Pody expressed himself either way on this?
Yeah, I talked to Mark about it 2 or 3 times. He's been keeping an eye on it. I think he shares my same concerns. Of course, I'm not going to speak for him, but as far as what will happen with it at this session, I don't know. I'm sure he would know better than I would.
Are there other things you're greatly concerned about?
Well, that was the one I just really thought of. I understand we've got to take these steps to stop the jury trials because we got folks that are worried about coming in to serve. But we got people in jail facing charges, haven't had anything proven against them, and their cases keep getting bumped and bumped. I've got 2 in Smith County that we were going to try the first 2 weeks of December, right before they changed this, they suspended the jury trials again. That's an issue for me. What I've done, because of course the criminal system just keeps on rolling, I have gone ahead and seated the 5 grand juries in all 5 counties. We did that in December. They have to meet to decide whether or not to indict people. But I also had dates set up to pick our regular jury panels, the ones that go in and hear the cases. Excuse me. And I've just had to take those off the docket. There's no sense in bringing people in right now when we don't have any jury trials for at least 60 days and potentially longer. But that's a concern of mine.
We have certain regulations, ways of doing things. I mean, even somebody who has been accused of something is supposed to have a fair trial, and if you just keep putting it off, that's really not right. I mean, although I understand we're in between a rock and hard place here, but I don't know what the answer is. But they don't. In all
it's not their fault.
They shouldn't have to go on and on and on and just sit there and wonder what's going to happen to them.
And I don't know. I've gone ahead and suspended our jury trials in March because I believe the Supreme Court's going to extend it. But I have left a couple of weeks available to hear these 2 cases in Smith County that really been waiting. I've told the attorneys that represent them, I said, we're going to try, if they don't extend it, we're going to try these cases in early March. There's several cases in each county, but those have really been waiting.
Any way to do this without a trial jury?
Of course, they can do bench trials, and we've done some of those. There's no restriction on bench trials. There won't be as of the end of January right now. But it's up to the defendant and the state that they each have to waive a jury trial before that can happen. And usually defendants would rather have 12 folks hearing it than 1. So,
well, then if they have the option here, maybe that doesn't make it as bad.
Well, potentially. But that's still a right they're afforded, and they shouldn't have to waive that. But I don't know. That's just a personal call between the defendant and his lawyer on what they want to do on that. Generally, the state is they're more likely to go ahead and waive a jury just to get the case heard. But some of these defendants, it's their one shot, so they want to do it with the jury, and I can't blame them. We have the vaccine. We're
hoping that things are going to improve as far as people getting the virus and all of this. If this happens, will as far as the courts go, things get more back to normal?
I hope so. It's going to have to. I think it will. I'd love to know the timeline, Coleman. I'd love to know what's your idea. I don't know how long this is going to take to get this rolling, but I think surely it will. I mean, we've got to do something. And, of course, we went back to normal for a little while there, in the fall. We had 5 jury trials in 7-8 weeks. We were really pumping them out. We had the first jury trial in the state on this new statute. It's a second-degree murder charge for those who, if they can prove that you sold the drugs to someone that killed them, if it has the fentanyl or carfentanil in it, you can be charged with murder in second degree. And we tried the first one in the state. General Lawson, Assistant DA Jason Lawson, and Adam Parrish tried it. We picked the jury out at the Expo Center, and we went through all kinds of steps to get it rolling. And the lawyers did a fantastic job. And there's ways around it, I guess. But I tell you what, I want to thank the lawyers. I mean, I think, of course, everybody knows the lawyer jokes, and I laugh just as hard as anybody else at them. But these attorneys they're risking their own health. Yeah. They're going to meet with people in jail and talking to folks and keeping the wheels turning. It's just an amazing job that this local bar has done, because the way we go about things have changed. We're doing a lot more on Zoom, on computer, which is a whole nother issue for those who are technologically challenged like I am. It's real tough. But you got documents and that sort of thing. It makes it tougher. But the bar has really done an outstanding job.
Well, I think you've done an outstanding job being with us this morning as my guest. I appreciate it very much, and we'll try not to be too long before we'll have you back.
Thank you, Coleman. Have a happy New Year.
Thank you. That is Judge Brody Kane, and that is part 1, or that is part 2. That's all of Coleman and Company. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Tuesday edition. And until tomorrow, I wish you a magnificent day.